And it is this corroboration which I think is fascinating, which they will show in 2 projects that they have done. So, over to you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chong. Thank you, Cliff Person and Ken. And hi, Siang here. Okay, our theme today will be transitory spaces. And we'll go straight to the definition of transitory spaces for us. There are 2 definitions for us. One is in between and a kind of leftover space. Basically spaces that are overlooked and people pass by without pausing. So I'm sure like on a daily basis you'll pass by a lot of all these spaces without even noticing the potential of these spaces. Some examples of the transitory spaces. Okay, this is the second definition of transitory spaces for us. These are breathing spaces for us. And by breathing spaces, we define it as spaces that allow people to pause and linger for a moment longer for these spaces around us. So for today, we have chosen 2 projects, and these 2 projects are special to us because it is one of the initial collaborations that we have with the artist Miss Tang. And these 2 projects features 2 different natures of transitory spaces. One of them is in buildings itself, which is the first project that Ling-Nah will present in a while. And the second project is in between buildings, which we will touch on after Ling-Nah has presented. Yeah, so I'll pass the mic on to Ling-Nah.
Thank you, Siang. Good afternoon, everybody. I will now share with you this site-specific drawing installation titled The World Outside, which is located in the transitory spaces. Now, it is a work that scored 2 firsts, that is for me. It is the first time that my work about transitory spaces is in an actual transitory spaces. And of course, that was the first time that I worked with Atelier Small. And in 2012, the visual arts team from the Esplanade invited me to present a work for their final quarter. And I chose this space it's called the Esplanade Tunnel. It is one of the visual arts spaces of the Esplanade where they actually present visual arts. I chose the Esplanade Tunnel not only because of its visibility, but also of its transitory nature. So if you have been there and you are lucky to walk to the Esplanade from CityLink or coming from Raffles City Hall MRT station or from Bras Basah MRT station, you will have to pass by here to go to Esplanade, and of course vice versa. So it's a very transitory space, and usually artists use only this side of the wall, which is a long, continuous wall, right? And not this side because of the green glass. Okay? So I thought, it would be fun to have both sides of the wall used for my work, and so that I can create a more all-encompassing experience, and also to let my viewers live in my, live in my drawing. So I thought, but how do I work with these glass panels? And I thought architectural intervention would be necessary, and that was how I wrote in Atelier Small. And what I asked from them was very simple: provide me with a surface to draw and have seats. Okay. So this is to take a look at the tunnel again when it's in the empty state. This is where you walking from the Esplanade to CityLink. Right. So this was our plan. Okay. This is from CityLink, and this is the tunnel. The tunnel is about 70 meters long, and you have limited budget, so we can't have the art for the full tunnel. So Atelier came up with a brilliant idea, divided into 3 sections, and we call them rooms. So we have room 1, 2, 3, and they designed this wooden partition that cover the green glass panel for me to draw on. Okay? You notice that this is a top view of the plan. You notice that it's actually trapezoidal. Now this is to give an illusion of the greater space and also for direction. We also have seats. We design seats of two types. One of them is the massive seat, and then the plank type of seats that are placed at different heights. Okay, this is the top view to show you the design of the seat. This is the work itself. This is if you come from CityLink to walk towards Esplanade. This is room 1. A scene from room 1. We're drawing on the wooden panel that is used to cover the glass panel. This is room 2. Yeah, you notice the seats there. It's the plank style kind of seats. And there is actually a triangular relief kind of pillar that is on this wall, which I also drew on with charcoal. This is room 3. Room 3 is very interesting for me. That is, we have a seat here that is placed at 180 cm above ground. Of course, nobody can sit on it. I call it the Humpty Dumpty seat because if Humpty Dumpty sat on that and fall, he would definitely break. Okay, and this is a pillar. You can see a pillar here. Now there are actually 2 fat pillars in this tunnel, and many people actually notice that there's actually a pillar at the center of the tunnel because of the presence of our work. The lighting is designed in such a way that if you walk from room 1 to 3, it gets progressively dimmer, and the drawing also gets more abstract with only a play of shapes and also tonal values. Now this is a scene showing you the setting up process. I had 3 assistants drawing with me in the tunnel. We work from 10 a.m. to about 6:30 because after that it gets too difficult to work because people rush to Esplanade in that tunnel and get very crowded, so we can't focus drawing. During the process of drawing, we got to speak to many passerbys, and I thought this kind of engagement was really interesting because we get to share our work and experience. This is to show you what happened during the exhibition. Of course, people rest on our seats. They even have a picnic. They, of course, chat with each other. They get cozy. They walk past, they look at the drawing. And they take pictures. People like taking pictures. Also to mention, we had a poem, an English poem and a Chinese poem, inserted on the wall between the rooms, to provide a kind of narrative, a kind of backdrop for people to imagine and to relate to. And of course, people left their mark in the wall outside and on my drawing. Huei Siang will now share with you another work that we did in a transitory space.
Okay. Okay, this is the another of the project that we chose to feature. It's talking about transitory spaces in between buildings, and this was for an art sort of like an art installation competition that was held about 3 years back. So we were one of the winners for this project, and we got it built as well. Okay, just a quick introduction of the site. Initially, we were allocated another of these sites in between buildings as per our definition. So we came up with a proposal for this site to do some installation over there. But shortly, after we won the competition, the downtown line came in place and they took over the site. So we were sort of like displaced. So we moved on to the next site, which is also one of the other transitory spaces in the city. I'm sure many of you here can recognize where this space is. This is at Stamford Green, outside National Museum of Singapore. So we were displaced and placed onto this site for the installation. So we had to come up with something. Yeah. And as many of you know, this is where the former Old National Library sat at. So this is in a way designing to save memories of the sacred spaces that we have over here. So of course our design had to make reference to the context of the site. Okay, this is one of the working drawings that we had. So we decided to put in some of the elements here that deals with, or that rather interacts with the landscape, with the different. Okay, so for us, transitory spaces has an immense potential for us to create an identity and create our own identities. So we just want to bring that point across, and we should tap on all these immense resources to sort of like look at different transitory spaces differently and to design it differently to create a new identity. That's all. Thank you.